lemonade, water, cold tea. It's up to you, it's up to me. Cold drinks come in 4 cups. Gotta know the size before you fill it up.
That's my pet floaty.
You work at Attila to midnight? This is the morning stream.
All right, everybody, we're back. Welcome back. Cool song. Liked it a lot.
Yes.
Would listen more. 4 stars.
A plus.
A+.
Would buy from again.
What do they say on the? What's the deal on Yelp? Is it stars? How do you do a Yelp review?
Stars, yeah. Yep.
Never done one. My whole life. Have you done a Yelp review?
I have done a Yelp review, and it's sad because I haven't done a Yelp review for a place that I really like. I've probably only ever done 2, but they were both places. It was like, oh wow, that was absolutely the worst service. I was so disliked the service I received that I felt compelled to actually go to the internet and voice my displeasure.
Interesting, because that leads me to wonder if that's why Yelp reviews tend to skew so negative, because people only do it when they've had a bad time. And
I think so. Yeah, I think that's something very much to take into account when you are planning on going to a place and you only see negative reviews, or you see mostly negative reviews.
Yeah, because nobody complains when they're having a good time. Well, and if you're having a good time, you just, oh, it's great.
Nobody thinks to leave a positive review if they have a great time.
Yeah, and obviously some people do, but it's not nearly as many who have a rotten time. I get that. We're adding Bill to the call, but he no answer, so I don't know what that means. Oh, I have some text. Let's see if this is probably...
Did he think we were in...
He might have. Maybe he's already traveling. I don't know. I'm going to pause the show, save it.
Okay. Alrighty then.
Let's see. Let me text him. Hey, Bill.
You up for show today?
Hey,
feel
man.
like joining us?
You up for show? You feel like being part of it? All right, we'll give him a moment to answer while I save this.
We're going to do a show and you're invited.
Ugh, there's a show in my head. Oh, he says Discord crashed.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's in chat, apparently. There he is.
Oh, is
Discord
he? Okay.
crashed. Reloading.
Okay. You should just see it. Oh, no worries. You should just be able to hop in when you get back in. Okay. Oh, I hear the sounds of Bill. Hold on, I gotta start this up again. Let me do that. Okay, now we're in good shape, everybody, and here's a thing for me to play. Where is it? Here it is.
Let the children make it themselves.
Can you tell us when you're going to make your move?
Maybe I'll make it with you.
Hey, everybody, make way for Willie.
Make way for Willie, indeed. It's Bill Duran, all the way from beautiful Seattle, Washington, unless you're somewhere else. Are you home? Where are you?
No.
Yeah.
No, I was in San Jose for TwitchCon.
Yeah.
And I'm back home.
How'd TwitchCon go for you? Have a good time?
It was awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah, I judged the costume contest. The costumes were extraordinary. It was quite a challenging feat to pick just one as a big-time winner. But we did. It was a dress, no doubt.
Wow.
Just an exquisite, flawless gown.
Wait a minute.
It's interesting because I wouldn't expect cosplay to be a big thing at TwitchCon, but it totally makes sense now that you say it.
Yeah.
Well, the costume contest is a very big deal. There aren't a ton of cosplayers at TwitchCon.
Okay.
Most of the people, if they're there and they're cosplaying, they're there because they have been invited to the costume contest and flown out for it. So, yeah, we see a little more every year, but not much, except for the contest.
Right.
Very cool.
Well, you see Jury there? I assume you did, because he was there.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Got all up on that beard.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I have a question for you about TwitchCon that I was going to ask Jerry, but I'll just ask you real quick.
Okay.
When you are there, I mean, my impression of TwitchCon has evolved over time, but my impression still sort of remains that it is a lot of kids. Like, very young kids at this thing.
You know what?
Yeah.
I would say I saw more youngsters at VidCon than TwitchCon.
Interesting.
Now, Twitch, I believe to have an account on Twitch, you must be at least 13.
I think that is the rule, yeah. Yeah, I think so too. Well, I think that's also true on YouTube. I think it's true everywhere. I think there's like a 13-year-old law thing that exists in most states.
Well,
I may be wrong.
I wonder. But either way, it seemed, I mean, I still felt old at TwitchCon.
Yeah.
It's not like there were a bunch of senior citizens running around.
Yeah. I guess that's the thing. And it's not, I mean, you get everybody, right? It's not just gamers. I know there's a big focus, obviously, but more and more since they opened the platform up, you got ASMR people there. You got the crafters and makers and makeup artists and all the other stuff that sprouted after they opened it up to everything outside of gaming. I'm sure it's a very different landscape, I would assume.
Yeah, I bet it would be. They had an artist alley, which was cool.
Yeah.
There was no creative corner this year. In fact, I found out the creative category on Twitch is no longer being used. It's been split into subcategories.
Yeah, we used to be for podcasting. That's what we used to have to use. Yeah. Then they changed it to talk shows. Now it's called talk shows and podcasts. So they keep working that stuff around. But also, if you were doing something that was like, if I was drawing, I would always use creative. Now I'm looking for a drawing specific category. So that's interesting that they got rid of that. But it makes sense.
There's one just called art.
Oh, interesting. Really?
Yeah.
And that can be
it's kind
anything.
of a bummer because before, when everyone was in creative, that category would get bumped up the list because everyone was using it. Now that it's split up, they're all buried.
Right. Alex in chat room has a good question. If you go around the ASMR area, is it really quiet there? Can you hardly hear anything? Is it just like...
It's really the food court, and it's just a bunch of people with microphones while they eat their taco sampler pack.
I love that idea. Sitting there with your little Shure portable microphone going, okay, here's now. I'm going to eat this taquito, and oh my gosh, that's good. Well, anyway, this is all fantastic, as always. Bill, what have you come to us with this week?
I did some clay sculpting.
Wow.
It's not really my jam. I'm more of a hard surface guy. But we had our friend Nick. His thing is called Modulus Props. He's an amazing sculptor. He's from Portland, Oregon, so we invited him up, and he taught us everything he knew about sculpting. And of course, we made a video.
Yeah.
So that video's up on our YouTube channel right now if people want to learn how to sculpt. I had a ton of fun, like really getting my hands dirty, so to speak, learning more about clay sculpting. Really kind of pulled me back to art class, you know?
I would think that this would be something that Frank Ippolito would have...
Definitely, yeah.
Would have worked with you on, too.
Yours is burning. Cool. Very nice. I like this a lot.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of this, and it makes every time I see somebody doing sculpting again, it makes me want to do it again. So that's probably what this video will do. I have a whole block of like plasticine clay over there that just sits there waiting for me to try to do it again like I used to in the old days.
You can follow along in this video. You got everything you need.
Yeah, this is very exciting. So what'd you make out of it? What'd you do?
We made some masks, like some half masks sort of thing, that just go over mostly your eyes and nose. We used a clay called Monster Clay. What's great about like the plastiline that you have, or the plasticine clay that you have, or the wax-based clays or oil-based clays, is they never dry. So you can sculpt with them, you can rip it apart, you can reuse that clay, you can work with it over and over again. It's great for like for practicing. There's tons of other clays, of course, that you could use. Michael's or whatever craft store near you will probably have all kinds of clay. People like sculpting in Sculpey. Sculpey also doesn't dry until you bake it, so you can sculpt with it and then reuse it and reuse it. Really just to practice, which is great.
It's very expensive, expensive but awesome stuff. That material is great.
Right. Like a tub of Monster Clay is like $30, but it's it's 20 pounds of clay, and you can use it forever.
Yeah.
I have a box of plastiline clay I use for mold making that I've had for a decade, and when I get low, I just buy another chunk and throw it in there, and it just becomes part of the collective.
It did. One of my favorite thing to do is if they come in different colors, I immediately mix them all together to make just like this poo brown that will forever be the color. Yeah, I like doing that.
Yeah, my clay is now permanently poo brown.
Yeah. So what's interesting about this is you guys are using styrofoam mannequin heads or some material, I don't know what, but using them as sort of your basis. It's like, all right, if we're gonna do a mask, let's build a mask on top of a form rather than try to freeform that out and be wrong on the size or whatever. That's an interesting approach.
Well, those are your life casts, right? Or are those not your specific life casts?
So Nick has one that is a generic life cast that you can just buy. Mine is a casting of my twin brother's face. So it'll fit. I know it'll fit me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
His students call him Mr. Duran. That's what they call him.
That's right, they do. And that's why I know if I'm at a convention and a kid runs up to me and goes, "Hey, it's Mr. Duran," and I'm like, "Ha, it's one of my kid's students. He thinks I'm Rob."
Yeah, so you
then
should
I'm like,
say
"Screw
something
you,
like,
kid! Ha 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 ha!" And I hit him in the face and I run away.
Yeah, you should leave him with some horrible teacher impression. That's a great idea. That's the fun of being a twin that no one ever talks about.
Yeah. So anyway, lots of different clays. Someone in the chat's asking if you can use water on it. No, the wax or Chavant-based clays are oil-based or wax-based, so they will not accept water. But you can use solvents on them, like naphtha or rubbing alcohol, to smooth them out, which I learned. I learned from Nick.
Now, was that just a hair blower that you were using to warm it up and create some?
Yeah, a hairdryer or a heat gun would work to soften the clay, which is awesome when you're trying to move a lot of it. You can soften it a little bit. Nick, now, if you've got the video up there, he made a half mask that was more like a skull, which was really cool. So he had tons of reference images, and he had a book on skulls so that he could get the forms right and try and get the details right. So even though he's making a mask that's kind of a, what would you say, it's not a real skull, right? It's like a rodent skull that fits on a human face, but he was able to pull from reality a lot of those details to make it a lot more believable, which was really great.
Yeah, that is cool.
Mine was more like a hammered metal sort of thing, and I added some like robotic parts to it, which was super fun.
Looking at him this is super interesting. So I wanted to make here. Everyone I ever see who sculpts a lot, like that's what they do. They're ripped. Like sculpting gives you freaking muscle tone like nothing else. And
at least from the wrist to the elbow.
yeah, totally.
Right. Popeye arms.
Yeah, they got Popeye arms big time, and it's always funny to see. You always know if you're working with somebody who's really dedicated to the craft because they're just ripped on their forearms. But
that or he's a mountain climber.
Yeah, yeah, true. It's like the same muscle groups. But anyway, well, this is fascinating. People should go check this out. Wait, is that you? Yeah, that's yours with the metal on the sides. That's a cool.
Yeah,
I know, that's really cool. Like almost like a Mad Max.
Right. I was leaning on my model making skills.
It's all right.
Like, I know how to make hard surface stuff. I'll include some of that.
Yeah, you bring to the table what you got. That's awesome.
Yep.
And the staples. That is really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The main takeaway I think from most sculpting lessons is that you want to work really hard for as long as possible on getting the forms right, which a lot of times you can just go in with your hands and don't add any detail you can't get with just your hands. That way you're not going to rush to those details while the underlying forms are crap. So yeah, just work. If you're learning, if you're getting into it, get any clay you can find and just try and match a reference and only use your hands for as long as possible until you need to grab a pencil or a tool to start adding finer detail.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I'm very impressed. Not only do you bring things you're working on, but you usually bring a little suggestion of somebody else's work today. What do you have?
Yes, I do. One of the questions I get most often from people, taking a little detour here, talking about 3D printing. People want to know which 3D printer they should buy. And my friend Bob over at I Like to Make Stuff did a really great short little video that has a bunch of pointers on how to pick 3D printer.
Nice.
I thought that was really fantastic and a good thing to share.
Oh, there's your link. Sweet. I'm going to put this up here for you guys to see in the chat. But go look for it if you are listening to the show on audio. He's another bearded guy. So there you go. All the bearded guys buying a 3D printer. Oh, look at all this. This is cool. I Like to Make Stuff as the channel.
I love that guy. Yeah, he's one of my favorite creators to follow on YouTube.
Oh, you were already following him. That's awesome. That's cool.
He's just a swell dude too. Smells
he seems
great.
like it.
Smells great. Wow.
Smells great.
I thought he smelled like PVC or something. It's like
no, it's all sawdust, you know, hardwood sawdust.
Yeah, because he was right. He was the one I was looking at for the arcade, the thing. The Spags.
Oh, he was your reference point for that. That's cool.
He was on my reference point. Yeah,
that's great. All right, we'll check him out. Bill Duran, everybody. We're going to see you at BlizzCon, yeah? Maybe?
Absolutely. Okay. I won't have anything new, and I'm not like trying to be like to have a surprise. We didn't make anything.
That's the surprise.
You've had some stuff going on.
So if you want to see me in normal clothes at BlizzCon, keep an eye out.
Yeah, check it out. Well, I'm excited to see you. We'll see you in a few days. Take it easy. Have fun. Jim Beard on Twitter. Whoops, I hung up on Brian. Crap. I'm back. I hung up on the wrong guy. Okay, now I'm back. Hi, Brian's back.
It's funny, yeah, Bill and I were like, oh, looks like you pressed the wrong button.
I did. That worked out real well for everybody. Hey, these iPad Pros are shipping next week.
The 7th, yeah.
Everything is.
Yep. Yeah.
I would, so here's my, I'm going to just throw a recommendation out to the world. If you are an artist who is, you know, generating income through your art digitally, and you're like, should I upgrade? I don't think you have to from the previous one, but if you have the one before that, I think this is the time.
I have the current, or the previous 12.9 iPad Pro model, and I don't feel like I need.
You don't need to. Yeah, you don't need to upgrade. A lot of people don't, so I'm not going to make a universal recommendation here, but I might.
It's so gorgeous. The new form factor. The fact that it's like a 8.5 by 11 page.
Yeah.
Size.
Smaller, but big screen, same screen size. It's pretty cool.
I hate when they change form factors and you have to think about new cases and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, dang it.
Although I have a kind of a general case that just fits anything in it, so I don't really use anything special. All right, so Brian,
yes, sir.
Justin.
Time to buckle in, right? Time to put on both safety belts because jury's joining us.
I don't know what this is going to be. He and I talked over the phone last night. This might be not that big a deal.
Oh, okay.
It might be small potatoes today. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I don't know what that means, but okay.
We'll see.
These are their stories.
Oh, I'm terrible with names.
Welcome to the program, the one, the only, the also covered in TwitchCon sweat, Justin Robert Young. Good morning.
Yeah.
Oh, he's quiet. Hold on. Your volume's way down. Let me turn you up. Oh, there we go. Now say words.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, still very quiet. You're like distant. You're like a million miles away. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Justin. Don't forget to mash that subscribe button. No, you there? You got it?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah, you're like super quiet.
You're low for both of us, and I've even got
I have him maxed right
Discord
now.
Maxed, yeah.
Yeah, I got you turned up so high that we don't even know. We've never seen levels this high.
I don't know what that means.
I'm gonna save our MP3 real quick, and then while he does that, it's always a good idea when I got a little pause. Charon says wrong mic, but no, it's his right mic. It's just quiet. I can tell it's his right mic.
How about this?
Oh, it's getting better.
Getting a little better.
A little better. Go higher.
Is that any better?
Try a little more.
Check. 1, 2. Oh, you want to know what? Here, hold on.
I do want to know what.
He's gonna blast our ears in a second.
Yeah, this is gonna be bad.
Yeah, you know what? So I've been having this problem with Audacity, where when you adjust your Audacity mic, it plugs into the full line in. So if Audacity decides that your mic, for whatever reason, even though I haven't opened it, is too hot, it just adjusts all of my volume down 25%.
Oh.
So I have to open Audacity and turn my mic back fully on. That makes all the rest of the line ins go back to where it should be.
Oh, it makes perfect sense then. Way to go, Audacity, saving us from ourselves.
Hey, look at this. I didn't blame it on Discord.
No, you didn't. Yeah. Thank you for that. Hey, Justin's with us. It's Justin Robert Young. He is back from TwitchCon. How'd it go, by the way? How was the con?
You know, it's always very inspiring. TwitchCon is something that very much feels like a happening and not an event, if that makes sense.
Sure.
You know, it is yet to be fully codified. You know, everyone's famous, but nobody's famous except for Ninja because he had a bus.
He had a bus, like a tour bus kind of bus?
Yeah, he had a tour bus and then a little like tent in a parking lot catty corner to the convention center where he sold more merch.
Wow. I don't know why that surprises me. I know he's huge. Well, I just obviously I don't know. He's way bigger than I thought he was. Like it's Ninja.
I mean, yeah, no, he's like, you know, a front page of magazines, like kind of famous. Like,
yeah,
he moves the needle.
He was on Ellen, man. Sat up there next door on the couch there, talked about stuff.
But you know, look, it was great, and there's so much there that I think I'm really excited about, and I don't know, it just always makes me think about things that I could be doing and things I could be doing better, and it forces me to watch more streams because I meet people and I like them, and so I want to support them and I watch them, and I don't know. There's just a lot of really good energy. I feel coming out of it.
And do you feel like the shift from hey we're just games to hey we do everything now is a tangible thing there? Like it's a you know it's no longer just a bunch of gamers, you know, Ninja and his sort of crowd notwithstanding. It's you know, plenty of ASMRs and people making stuff.
You and the ASMR. That's like the one thing that you have like at the top of mind.
There's hundreds of people doing it right now
I
as we speak.
understand that it's a popular thing. I did not run into any ASMR people during the thing. Although I am glad that they broke up the kind of IRL category so it wasn't, you know, just dominated by, you know, somebody freebooting a Korean television show and then 50 people ASMRing and then us.
Right.
Yeah. I noticed an uptick in Russian ASMR. It's something I've noticed. Just a little thing, yeah. I go in there and check it out once in a while just to see what's going on in the IRL.
Are you just into ASMR?
No. I don't like it at all.
I mean, I'll tell you.
I feel like this is the Doth protest.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Hey, if you guys think I got a Doth protest too much problem, let me disappoint you. This is how it works. I am and have always been curious about weird internet weirdness. So when I hear something weird going on, I go, what I perceive as weird, I like to dive in and go, okay, what's this about? What the crap are we doing here? And I oftentimes come away going, oh, I get it. I totally get why that's a thing. I'm still not 100% understanding why ASMR is a thing, but I am fascinated by tuning into the other day, some Russian guy with just tons of hair and a beard that was out of control, and he was on his mic right up in it going, "Bushka lashka, bushka bashka," whatever he was saying in Russian, right? And I was so like, "Whoa, this is somebody!" And this had like thousands of people watching it, and so it just fascinates me. I don't care for the thing itself because it doesn't do anything for me, which is why I'm fascinated by it. Because some people, you know, obviously do. So
that is a very interesting rhetorical. A little loop-de-loop you just did. It does nothing for me, but it fascinates me.
Yeah, well.
So we are discounting our own
closer to an answer.
Well, no, yeah. I get what you're saying.
I hate everything about it except for the fact that I love it.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Let me clarify. When I say it doesn't do anything for me, I mean it doesn't do for me what it apparently, reportedly, does for other people, which is
what is that?
Tingly.
I mean, just off the top of your head.
No, I know all the stuff. They get the tingly. They get the tingly sensation on their head, or they get the pleasurable feelings from a certain kind of voice or a certain kind of sound. They have a calming effect from it, or whatever it may be. There's a whole litany of these things that people claim they feel from it, including our very own Nicole Spagnuolo, who experienced this exact thing with certain kind of this sort of thing before. She's told us on the air. I have tried top to bottom, you know, as a guy, an average dude who also likes to feel good or have calming influences in his life. Hey, maybe there's something to this. So I watch them all, everything from the really sexy boobies out kind of ones to the ones that are just like this guy in the beard in Russia, and I've yet to find anything across that spectrum that.
So you would like to enjoy. You seek to enjoy ASMR, but it has disappointed you thus far.
Yeah, and I don't judge it for its for what it's doing for other people.
So you want to be a fan.
I want to understand I want to see if I want to know if it works. I think that's really it. I think the curiosity starts and ends there. Like, is this really a thing, or is this something else? Is this, you know, like if somebody's sitting around, like when I go into one of these rooms and it is a clearly very, very attractive 20-something girl with very little on, and she's whispering on a mic.
Kind of like what DJ Stengel just put in the chat room.
Scott.
All right,
explain it. What else?
Okay, so she's like that, and then she's whispering on the microphone. I pretty much am of the opinion, and someone could convince me otherwise, and that's why I like to poke around in here. But I think most of the 500-600 people that were there watching her were there watching, or maybe more. This may have been one of the ones that were in the 10,000 range. They like the booby part. I think there's something there. Now, they may also like the whispery part, or the combination of the two, or it's some kind of maternal thing where their mother never talked to them, and now they got someone who's female and attractive and has the life-giving bosom, and now they're whispering, and now it's like, the thing I never got when I was a kid. That's possible. I don't know. I'm not passing any kind of verdict here because I don't know. It just fascinates me that it's a thing at all. And then the people who aren't listening to somebody...
That is true. You're not passing a verdict. You're passing many verdicts. On
No, I'm not judging any of this. They can do whatever they want. I don't have... I'm not making fun of them. What I'm saying is...
No. You are not saying it's bad, but you are passing judgment. You are judging why they like it based on your own subjective enjoyment or lack thereof.
No, I wouldn't call them judgments. I'm calling them... They're hypotheticals. I have no idea. I don't know why it's a thing. If I knew why, I'd say it.
It's not a judgment. It's just calling it like a...
Well, no. Like, all I can do when I see that is go, all right, well, why are they probably here?
Must be here for the boobies.
Probably here for the boobies. Why is it that most of the people in the chat room are saying salacious, sexy stuff? Well, because they're probably here for the boobies. I mean, I'm just doing a little common sense with some of these people, okay? Some of them.
You'll come for the boobies, but you'll stay for the SMR.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying embrace it and say I'm judging these people.
I don't know if I'm judging them. Because I'm not judging them.
Like
I'm not judging them if they're there for the boobies. They can be there for the boobies. I don't care.
No. Again, I like I said, you're not saying they're bad, but you're making a judgment on their motivations.
I'm making a guess, yeah. I still don't think judgment is the right word, because judgment has finality to it, and I feel final about any of this. So I wouldn't call it a judgment.
You're still wrapping your head around it.
Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
We have to go further study. If there's no final judgment, then we need to educate ourselves.
Which is what I'm doing. And so I guess all I'm saying is I'm coming to some logical conclusions, like if the girl wasn't hot and half naked, and she had her Aunt Janice step in one afternoon to do it because she was busy at the dentist, I don't think it would be this. I don't think the crowd would be happy about it. Like, in other words, you're there for the reasons you're there, and whatever those reasons are, clearly she's giving those to you. And Russian guy with the beard and the crazy hair.
Yeah, but come on. If you were to step away and I were to take over the morning stream, there would be a sizable portion of the audience that would not like that. Like people want the exact thing that they want. They make a connection with the exact person they want, and whether or not that half of it is a halter top and half of it is how she talks, or the formula is more of one than the other. People want exactly what they want. This is the land of infinite entertainment possibilities, and the beautiful thing about Twitch is that it is the most aggressive entertainment. It is the entertainment that talks back to you.
Whatever your kink is, whatever your interest is, you'll find it.
See, Brian.
And it's more than that, because you can just watch YouTube videos of girls with heaving bosom giving you ASMR, right?
Yeah.
But this is the better part. This is the no, but I want this thing said right now. I don't just want to watch a speed run. I want to watch a speed run and then talk to the person that just speed run 2 seconds ago, and I want to see whether or not what they think.
You're right, but I think just a quick note here. If you're gonna pile on me about judgment, but then Brian can just sneak in a hey, whatever your kink is, you can go out there and find it and let that go. I'm gonna call bias here a little bit.
But a kink doesn't have to be sexual.
No, and also.
Now we're gonna do that. Now we're gonna say, well, the word kink can be anything.
Brian, no. But Brian made a general statement and you said I have a problem with these half booby
out. I didn't say I had a problem with it. I didn't say I had a problem.
These kids, the only reason why they got an audience is because there's a bunch of pervs banging down the door, looking to get a peek.
Not what I said. None of those words are the words I used. Roll the tape for real. I said I assume a lot of them were there for the booby lady. I didn't say I think this is. I didn't say any of the things you just said. He's trying to get me going.
I'm not saying that you said it was bad. You're the one who keeps adding this on in your head.
Justin's trying to. He's trying to get me there, you guys. He's trying to get me there. We're not gonna. It's not gonna happen today. I'm not letting it.
All right. No. All right. So anyway, let's calm down. What are your feelings about Trump this week?
I don't want to talk about him. I don't want to talk about him. He sucks. I don't want to talk. Everything he's done in the last 2 weeks has sucked for me. Everything, all of it, every response to everything, all of it. It all sucks.
His bad, his bad hair day comment, or coming out to Pharrell Williams happy.
Any of it, I don't care. All of it. It doesn't matter.
What about the prescription drug thing?
I didn't hear that one. What is it?
He wants to basically do. It's actually something that would probably get him more mainstream praise, but it's. There's this very weird break happening with the Republican Party and pharmaceutical companies, where Trump is trying to push a cap on certain prescription drug prices, which the pharmaceutical companies had been very much against. I think the GOP is trying to figure out a way that they can dismantle Obamacare but keep certain elements that people like, but take away some of the entitlements that they don't like. And so this is kind of a behind-the-scenes shift that nobody's really paying attention to because everybody's, freaking out about legit tragedies and less than legit distractions.
Right.
IMO.
I mean, if he does that, I'd be shocked because what will happen is he'll get the blowback and then not do it. So he's done this before, like certain kinds of things where he's like he waffled a bit on the Dreamer stuff and then immediately backed off of that. He waffled a little bit on what was the other issue? There was some issue where it was almost liberal.
The Dreamer thing is something where, and I think this is not an unreasonable position that this is a congressional issue. Like we should be, if we're going to pass a law, we should pass a law. And what's happening now, and this is something that I really think is a bad precedent, is when we start to rule by executive order. And that's the news this morning about the, birthright citizenship trying to be mitigated or revoked by executive order. And who knows whether or not that'll happen or whether or not that's just a thing that we're tossing out there.
It can't happen. It can't happen. How can it happen? Like if he single-handedly executive orders the 14th Amendment away, he erases that from the Constitution?
I am not a constitutional scholar. I will defer to anybody who is a constitutional scholar on how this is to be done. To be honest, I started reading about this morning, and I am not an expert, so I don't know what he can and can't do. I would assume anything that he would try to do would be caught up in the courts fairly quickly.
Yeah, I don't think he can do it. I mean, it's one thing to say, I'm going to change a policy about...
I mean, but we don't know. Like, we're literally just, guessing. Because I don't know if you can cripple it via executive order. I don't know whether or not you can, all but mitigate it. If you can stop certain... hold up certain applications being processed. We have no idea. Literally this started today, and then everyone's going to rush to whether or not it should be done or not, right? Which that's a good political opinion, but we don't know whether or not he can.
Well, okay, it's true. I suppose if all things go upside down, he could change something in the Constitution, and the only one that will ever hold dear is the second, I guess, is the only amendment anyone will give a shit about on that side of the aisle, which makes no sense to me. You either observe the Constitution as the holy document you claim you think it is, or you do this and pick it apart and you're just a lying sack of shit. So what I come down to is he's a lying sack of shit. You can't just pop in there and go, well, some people say I can do it. Some people... And then, you know what the real problem is? It isn't that. It's just another dumb thing he's saying. Everybody's got to stop giving him, and I guess we're doing it now, we got to stop giving him so much freaking attention for it. Because that is not going to go anywhere. I am willing to bet money that one goes nowhere. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen on his watch. It doesn't happen on anybody's watch. It's a permanent. If you're going to do something like overturn prohibition, that takes serious change and progress. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen within 8 years of a presidency. So it's not going to freaking happen. So instead, we just, every time he blurts out something stupid, we swarm around him like bees going, "Brrr!" You're
feeding him, basically.
Yeah, we have to stop. That has to stop.
All right. So what issue, how are you taking personal steps to stop it?
Well,
I guess here's and you want to hear. Let me just say this. This is the thing that I really did want to talk about today, because we've had a lot, and I think a good conversation about where words become actions and where reactions and where messaging affects the real world, and whether it's about the mail bombs by the crazy dude in Florida, who, by the way, my just in personal friends alone, I have heard unsubstantiated but certainly claimed reports that the mail bomber was a regular in one of my friend's bars when he was a bartender, was a stripper at a bachelorette party that a friend of mine attended, and attempted to steal DJ equipment from another friend of mine's store. In case you were wondering, how Florida.
Right, exactly. It's funny how the tweets all seem to be like a Where's Waldo. It's like, oh, I saw this guy at a rally, or I passed him on the street and took a picture of his van. And
there is a bit of that. Yeah, there's a bit of that going on.
But even then, at a certain point, we have to understand that we are in a world. The great beauty of the internet is that we shrunk the distance between us and our gatekeepers, and in many cases leapfrogged them and eliminated their jobs. There was a point in which we ceded so much of our lives and our culture to kind of the people that decided such things, the television networks, the newspapers, the radio. These people were kind of untouchable. To go join them was to join the circus. You had to move to a certain place. You had to apprentice under certain people. There were only a few people that could grant you this living. This is now no longer the case. The internet has flattened things out to a tremendous point. But I think part of our very awkward adolescence that has pretty much spanned, from my actual adolescence to now, as the internet has become culture, is that we need to understand that there's a lot more personal responsibility that we need to take. We can't just blame it on because the magic box said so. That's I think increasingly going to become an out of vogue understanding, and I think that there's always going to be a conversation to be had about that words matter and that words can lead to actions from other people. But let's say all that's true. How are we fixing it? Like, are we just going to spend the rest of our lives trying to pin the tail on the donkey or the republic or the elephant, for that matter, and figure out where the blame goes? Or are we going to try to do better? Are we going to try to say, hey, you want to know what? Maybe political dialogue is toxic. Maybe political dialogue is inherently toxic, and we can admonish them, and we can wish that they were better, and we can even vote based on against this trend of toxic incivility that is leading to various different issues. But we need to decide what we are willing to tolerate instead of just pointing at somebody else and saying they did. That's my opinion through this. Like, for anybody who wants to take the this person caused this person thing and ban, man, I'll tell you what, when you go do your lap around the internet, around the ideological circle that I do every day, oh boy, is that 80% of all content. These people did this. These people did this awful thing. These people caused this awful thing. These people are programming these other people to do this awful thing. Man, is it 80% of all internet content. And yeah. I just hope that this is not a terminal velocity, and I hope that the next evolution is to think about how we can understand and compartmentalize. Let's assume that the politics never gets any less toxic, right? Mm-hmm. Let's assume that in fact it only gets more toxic from here. Mm-hmm. Then how do we compartmentalize it? How do we understand it in a different way that can set an example for at least the people that give a rat's ass, of which I think I would count everybody who's on this call and probably listening to this show.
Yeah, I mean, there's no simple answer, except this just reminds me of, like, if somebody complains that the landfills are too full and everyone goes, I can't believe it, too much trash, and then somebody suggests, well, if all of us just individually threw out one less thing a day, it would make all the difference and slow this to a point that you would be able to manage it. And then nobody does it. Because nobody does anything like that. People do it.
Well, everybody stands and looks around to see if anybody else is doing it, and then they don't do it.
And then nobody really comes together as a big unified force ever. It just doesn't happen. So
wait, really?
Not very often. Not everybody.
Charity never happens. Any kind of unity rallying cries.
No, of course that stuff does. Of course that stuff does. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm saying that if the answer is that if all Americans did one thing today that would make this huge difference, never happens. They never do it. They're never going to do that. There's going to always be these great moments of Bill Gates solved malaria and so-and-so built
again, I'm not saying that we all have to give the world a Coke tomorrow, right? Like, all I'm saying is, what are we doing? What are me, you, the three of us? Like, how are we setting an example? How are we not making it worse?
Or
is because
you tell me, what are you doing? What do you want to do? Because
the only answer right now that we have is find out who's to blame, which to me doesn't exactly like you guys are both parents, and at a certain point you got to decide when it doesn't matter who stole the candy cane first, right? The fighting needs to stop.
That's right. The problem is there's a candy cane missing.
Yeah.
No, you're not wrong. The candy cane is absolutely missing. I don't know, man. Like, what's your suggestion? What do you want to do?
Well, to me, I think we just need to, I think you had it earlier. I think we need to understand some of this stuff a little bit differently. Like right now, what I've watched is these news cycles get set off by stories that are either very speciously reported or are the products of a chaotic, non-message driven executive branch, and then a congressional branch that has forever been about leaking and trying to get their names in the paper because it's hard to stick out in that body. So we have a very sensitive political climate, right? Everybody's hair triggered on anything. Mm-hmm. And then we have a non-message disciplined Washington that enjoys every little inch of the chaos driven, because the last person who drove the most chaos became the president of the United States of America. And if you want to know, like, what am I doing? This is literally the entire point of all the political conversations that I have. This is my only point, is let's understand politics different than we understand our own personal morality. Let's understand that some of this is a commercial. You can think that a medicine that you rely on every single day that would bring down your cholesterol and probably extends your life by 30 years is a miracle, a gift from God that allows you to see so many more of your family's birthdays, so many more sunsets, maybe allows you to find true love that in a previous world you would not have gotten. But at the end of the day, they still got to advertise that shit on Sunday NFL football, and it's going to be some old dude in khakis getting a pizza while there's like a 2-minute thing about how it might make you poop yourself. Like politics is advertising. Politics is galvanizing. Politics is about getting people into a booth to hit a button. And we can understand that that's a process, and that is something that is designed to get us inflamed. That is something designed to get us motivated without losing our total humanity for, hey, you want to know what? These are also people. And there's people that are on the other side of the fence that are not evil. They just don't agree with my solution to the problem. And I don't agree with theirs. And at the end of the day, we can all get together and go into a booth and vote about it. And that's that. Right. Yeah. But I'm not going to lie. These last 5 days, man, I had a really depressing episode of the like politics extra that I did on Monday where I'm like, I kind of just wondered, like, are we just headed to the late 60s? Like when we had like political assassinations, as de rigueur, that we just, it was like an understood thing that if you were running for a major office, you might get shot and killed. If you're making a splash on a national stage, like that, you might get shot and killed because, like, I don't know. Part of me feels like we're just past this point where literally again, the thing that we just had that previous argument about was a offhanded comment that is being literally promoted for a television show, the Axios television show on HBO. That's what's causing all of this. Mm-hmm. They are promoting a soundbite so you watch their television show, and the conversation got to, anybody who claims themselves to be a constitutional, originalist is a lying sack of shit. Like, because of a commercial for a television show. Like, that's how hair trigger we are. Yeah. And I don't think that it's unnatural.
Yeah, no.
It's what I see all over the place.
Yeah. Brian, you were going to say something?
Just the fact that, we're hair triggered, but I think as a nation, we're more aware and more involved in politics. Our knowledge of what's going on in politics has risen exponentially over the past 8 years, 12 years, because it is such a heated debate, and the sides are getting more and more elevated, and the sides are getting more and more against each other, and we're
but there's my problem is this idea that there's equity on those sides. That's not happening right now. No. Like, there's no people going, both side stuff seriously is killing me. And I don't mean you, Brian. I mean, just generally speaking, people are saying, well, if the president's going to tone down his rhetoric, maybe nobody's calling the shooter at the baseball thing the Bernie Sanders guy. Well, yeah, but Bernie Sanders didn't get up at rallies and tell people to beat each other up, and he'd pay for the legal bills. Like, there's a difference between what's happening. And I don't even like Bernie Sanders. I usually vote Republican. The whole thing's turned upside down. It's all horse shit, and I'm sick of it. So here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to quit using my Political Scott account, and I'm just going to stop talking about it because I hate it. And everyone's going to go, well, that's what they want you to do. Okay, fine. I'm doing what they want me to do. I'm going to go draw stuff. I'm going to make shows. And I'm going to provide for my family, and I'm going to be a good granddad when that happens in February, and I'm going to go to BlizzCon next week and see all my friends. And that's what I'm going to do. F the rest of it. Because it's clearly, I mean, what am I going to do? I can't do anything. And all we've done today, this is all I'll get today, is about 50 emails from people going, either one side or the other going, oh, I'm so glad the jury's there to talk sense into you. And the other half will be, jury's crazy. I can't believe he doesn't see what's happening right in front of him. It'll be 50-50 today. And then what am I going to do with it like I do every week? I'm going to go, all right, well, I don't know what to tell any of you.
Forward me the bad ones. You can forward me. Don't even read them. As soon as you get
jury reply to them.
Yeah, as soon as you just read the subject jury again, you can just forward it to me. I can eat that poop.
Yeah, you'll eat that poop.
Yeah. Look, for some people, I do think that it is like, all right, well, maybe I need to focus on it less. And some people, I need to compartmentalize it more. But all I would ask is, on all sides, if you see a problem, how are you the change you want to see in the world? Like, how are we all doing it? Because I'll tell you what, if we think that the previous 2 years was crazy, like, by the way, we are now getting out of the calm period traditionally. Like, we are now entering into hurricane season.
Yes.
As of next week. And by the way, if you're in the Bay Area, you can come see me live at the Piano Fight Theater on election night. We are going to be reviewing all of the best midterm ads and watching the results roll in. It is the Wave Watch Election Night Extravaganza. Get your tickets at bit.ly/wavewatch.
That's a great way to transition to that. I like that. We'll miss you at BlizzCon. I know you're done with cons. You're out, right? No more cons this year.
Conned out for the year.
Yeah. Too many cons. I did a wedding in Cleveland. then then Scoop Fest, then Politicon, then TwitchCon. If I were to do BlizzCon, which I loved going to BlizzCon last year, I would have loved to go back this year because it's a con that I don't have to do anything about. But
right.
Now it's like the idea of like treating myself to a con. It's like the last possible thing that I want to think of right now. Yeah. And I have to write this live show, which I haven't written yet.
You should write that. Yeah, go to it. Actually, not having you not written it yet would make me more excited to see it live, because then it's like, ooh, this is tense. Like he's.
Oh no, I mean I have most of it. Like the ads that we have and the stories that we have are just gonna be great. Yeah. Like there's so much that we've already gone through with this. And then look, I think that this is going to be a big night. You know, we may see the first black female governor. It seems likely now that we're going to see the first black governor of Florida, who, by the way, is going to barely escape details coming out about an FBI investigation against him because Florida, that apparently revolved around Hamilton tickets and a private plane.
Oh, right, yeah.
Great.
But then, you know, we'll see whether or not the Democrats can take the House, whether or not the Republicans can keep the Senate, and then that night, pretty much as soon as the last poll result rolls in, that is the starter's pistol for the 2020 election. Which all I'm saying is, hey, look, start setting good mental health practices for yourself now.
Yeah, now would be the time. Yeah, if I'm going to recede into the darkness, this might be the time to do it politically.
At least for the next week.
Yeah, well, even until like 2020.
So should I start coming up with topics? Should we have just stuck with ASMR for the full?
No, we'll see next week how I'm feeling. I'll be actually next week. Oh, yeah, we'll be back.
Yeah, you'll be
BlizzCon.
Here
I'll be refreshed from my rad time at BlizzCon, and so you know, who knows what mood I'll be in, but. I don't know, just coming off these killings, coming off this these bombings, coming off all this stuff that happened in like 2 weeks, like stuff that normally would be like the story of the year all happening in 2 weeks is just, it's just a little much, man. It's just hard. Yeah. And here we do a daily show where it's like, we don't talk about that stuff until you come on. But other than that, we don't. Like it's 5 shows a week where it's pretty much, we steer clear of it. We just have fun and laugh and have a good time. And I think that's the right thing we should do. But it's, I don't know. It's just taxing.
It is going to be weird. I mean, we are going to be talking on Election Day a week from today. So
yeah,
it's going to be way too early to see any early results, early polling. But it'll be interesting to.
I can make bold predictions.
Make a bold prediction. Yeah.
In fact, next week, I will predict the exact number, the exact split of what the House and the Senate will be next week. So
wow.
so stay tuned.
All right, I'm excited. Wow. Justin R. Young on Twitter. Go watch his live thing. Stay out of trouble. We'll talk to you later. Bye now.
Bye.
All right. Well, there's that. Whoops.
Yeah, tuck in for next week, Scott. Just even if you're off Twitter.
I'm gonna cold turkey off of it for a while. I just can't do
Tuesday?
it. Yeah, but just in general, I just can't. I don't want to think about it right now.
Yeah.
I may have to get that new iPad. It's a business expense. That's how I have to look at it.
Seriously, I'm thinking about the Air.
Yeah, the Air's pretty sweet. I even think that Mini looks pretty good.
I know. Yeah, I mean, as a production machine, it's probably faster than the iMac that I'm talking to you on right now.
Oh yeah, no. In fact, it's spec-wise, it's not that far from my Pro that I'm using, but it's also they're little workhorses. They do great stuff. And the only problem with those things is, when was the last time they updated them? It was ages ago. So if you're buying now, it's like, see in 7 years or something, because I don't know if they're going to update them very quick.
Right.
Have to see. Anyway, that's it. That's the show. Hey, we do have an email. I'm going to read it.
Let's read the email.
From Mike D.
It's about poop.
It's about poop. It's from Mike D. He's a former member of the Beastie Boys, Mike D.
Good to see him, still keeping interested in current affairs and topics.
Yeah, he's getting into it. He says, "Hi, Sword and Board. Sword and Board.
Sword and Board.
I'm going
That's
to cut
my new
right.
favorite department store.
Oh yeah, the Sword and Board. Oh,
Sword and Board, yeah, and beyond.
If you're gonna get a board, you may as well get the sword while you're there.
Get the sword too, sure. I mean, you know.
Yeah. By the way, the only bummer I have about this is the new pencil's like $30 more than the old one.
Yeah.
The old one was cheaper.
Jerks. Yeah, I can't.
But it looks
I can't
sweet.
Get both right now, or I can't even look at that right now.
I don't even think
faster. Sure.
I don't think the new pencil even works with the older ones. I could be wrong, but I don't think
it probably doesn't.
Yeah, probably not. Anyway, I'm going to cut right to the chase, he says. I thought about something months ago, and it's been bothering me ever since. Belts are possibly the dirtiest article of clothing we own. I'm going to lay out exactly why this is. Like many people, I wear a belt every single day. Also, like many people, I poop every single day. Hey, well done there, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes,
I'm being regular.
Says oftentimes I poop while I'm at work or while out in public, and if the need strikes me, in these scenarios, I either I enter the stall to do my business, pull up my stuff, buckle my belt, exit the stall, wash my hands. That's right. I put thin pieces of paper between my hand and wipe my rear, and then I buckle my belt. Then I go wash my hands because in most cases there are no sinks in the stalls. I can't exactly waddle out with my pants around my ankles and wash my hands first. Now, the pants get washed regularly, so I'm not concerned about those, but my belts, whoo boy. I've never washed a belt in my life, and I bet you haven't either. Ever since I thought about this, I just assume belts worldwide are constantly covered in particles. What are you going to do about this? Thanks and much love, Mike D. Well, Mike D.
Yeah.
When I'm not rapping professionally. No, I have a belt that I do wash. It's a fabric belt.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, I use that with jeans and stuff, and so that one does get washed about once a week. The one that's like my dressier belt, he's got a point. I don't wash that. Mm-hmm. But maybe, it's like keeping us all immune just by having a big disease ball on there all the time.
Maybe. Jeez. I mean, I'm currently wearing a belt from one of our sponsors, and it's a leather belt. I haven't cleaned it.
Oh, but, right. Those are awesome belts.
They are awesome. I love the they're not currently a sponsor, so we can't say their name.
Right.
Plus, I can't remember what it is right now.
I'd totally say if I can remember it. I can't remember it either. But it's
it
something.
Is
something belts. Beltman McGee.
Something belts. I bet it's on here actually.
Belts are us.
Nice.
I don't
nice
remember.
Belts.
Nice
Core,
belts.
Core Essentials. K-O-R-E.
There you go. Core Essentials. Yeah, they're good.
Anyway, I haven't cleaned one of these, or I haven't cleaned this, and now that I read this email, I think I probably should.
Just get a little alcohol swab there, and just,
Yeah, that's all it really needs. Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like a good idea. We're thinking about cons. We're going to go fly out tomorrow. We're on planes with recycled air. We're going to breathe a bunch of BlizzCon people's air. Plus, they just finished TwitchCon, a lot of them, so they're just moving right over. They brought all their TwitchCon disease with them. Don't touch your face. Wash your hands a lot.
Exactly.
Remember the belt.
Keep your hands away from your eyes, nose, and mouth.
Yeah.
And away from mine, really, to be honest.
Keep it away from all of us, please. Cannot afford to get sick on this trip. All right. There's that, and there's this. We're done. That's it. If you'd like to send your own emails into us, you can. themorningstream@gmail.com is the email address. Quick note of business. We're not here tomorrow. We're not here Thursday, and we're not here Friday. We are at the event. Like I said, we'll try to record something there and maybe do a couple of little live streams from the phone. I don't know of the other content that may be being produced or not, what will be streamed or not. I'm not in charge of any of it, so until I get there, I don't know. But if we get there and find out we are, great. Todd's not there this year, so it's somebody else if it's happening. I don't know. But we'll let you know. Just follow us on Twitter, and we'll keep you informed. Coverville for Brian. I'm at Scott Johnson. And as always, you can find the show at Morning Stream. If you like this show and you'd like to see it survive and thrive, your patronage is very important to us. Patreon.com/TMS is the website. That's patreon.com/TMS. If you've waited this long not to do it and you need a reason to do it, let me just tell you, it's a great time of year to support us because the holidays get weird and slow. So get in there, patreon.com/TMS, and huge thanks to everybody who has. A quick update on the cards. I got a bunch of decks in yesterday that are finished decks. For me to look at. I'll be bringing those to BlizzCon to play poker with people and stuff.
Cool.
I don't have more than just a I just have one deck of a
couple
couple
of
types.
Each. Sure, right.
In fact, I don't have zombie and I don't have the blue decks, but they shipped in different boxes. But anyway, the point is that means they're there. They have arrived in huge quantities. The chips have arrived. Everything has arrived. There's been updates on the Kickstarter, so you'll read those, but these will be arriving at your doorsteps for those who supported that Kickstarter shortly. I can't give you dates because I don't, do any of that. But the fulfillment is happening, and we're very excited to be to that point. Okay, Brian, anything else I'm missing? Anything you want to mention?
I can't think of anything. Sure. I think that just about covers it. Make sure to visit Scott at BlizzCon. He will be in the ASMR panel.
Yeah, I'll be there whispering into a mic. I do have stickers, though. If you're at BlizzCon and you want a free sticker, I got these cool Horde stickers I made. So bug me, and I'll give you one. I'll have them in my pockets.
Cool.
They'll be nice and warm next to my loins.
I will paint my face with your sticker.
That's right. Brian, why don't we go out with a song then, if that's okay with you?
We will absolutely do that. And Wes Words, who I also say is Wee Swords in chat, Wes Words. His name is Wes, so it's Wes Words. Hey, Sausage and Biscuit, I hope it's okay to make a song request. Oh, by the way, wanted to really quickly remind people, I've been getting a few emails with requests. Don't forget, I need you to go to bit.ly/TMS requests when you make your, I'm sorry, not bit.ly, tiny.cc/TMS requests. Okay. I just want to set that whole thing up for me, and that way I've got all of them in one place, and I don't want to have to go back and forth to emails and stuff. So if you've sent in a request, make sure you put it there.
Yeah, and if it's hard for you to remember that, if you just go to the TMS site, there's a link directly to that link.
Oh,
so.
Right, even better. Yeah. Yes, do that.
Yep.
All right, Westward says, hey, Sausage and Biscuit. I hope it's okay to make a song request. We play lots of music for our 2-year-old. The other day, we found a lullaby version of Don't Stop Believing. It was pretty sweet. Could you play something like that? Either a lullaby version of a hit song or a rock version of a lullaby. Thanks, guys. TMS always makes my day better. Blessings, Wes. Goes by Westwords in chat. P.S. Kim needs her own segment. She was such a great part of the show while Brian was out of town.
Yeah, she did great.
She did.
We talked a bunch about it. She's this close to saying we should do some sort of weekly couple show. It may happen.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. It took us this long to do it. Maybe we just needed the kids to all be old enough to...
That it could be, to not have to interrupt. Sorry, I got to go really quick. Nick is puking in the bathtub.
Exactly. Which, still in theory could happen, but I think that's probably why.
It'll happen for different reasons.
Yeah.
Kidding. Anyway, so a lullaby song is what Wes wants to hear. Now, there are a bunch of these albums out there, like lullaby versions of Radiohead and lullaby versions of Metallica and stuff like that. My favorite guitarist, a guy named Jason Faulkner, who I always talk about my favorite cover being his version of Both Sides Now.